What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another deck profile here on the channel. And today we're going to be doing the Sero deck that I played for my second ever Unfun Fridays event. This is a set 2 deck, and for it we're going to be showcasing some of these set 2 cards. Now, full disclosure, this is not the full set 2 deck that I would be playing if I was playing as Sero, but these are the cards that I have for set 2, and so I'll talk about some of the changes that I want to make as we get there. If you haven't seen one of my deck profiles before, basically what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and we're going to chat about basically the elevator pitch and how the deck works at a high concept level as opposed to just reading out each individual card. So what does Sero do? Sero is one of my favorite playstyles in the entire game. It says, after you interact with my block, something happens. If it's a full block, I get to take in once per game, look at your hand, and pitch a card. If you partial block, I draw 2 cards. Or if you don't block, you take a bunch of damage. And because of this, he gets to take and switch up his zones. Enhance for free. Change the zone of your attack. Just switch. And so he's got this really cool, really interesting offensive game plan where he starts and swings moves and overloads zones, and you have to play really specifically against him by holding the correct blocks. What do I think he's going to have? If I have a hand of all high blocks and he calls all lows, I can't block anything. If he has a hand of if he calls all lows and I have a hand of all blocks, I can't call anything. Conversely, though, if you guess right, you really cripple the deck. And so we have Sero. I'm currently playing the deck under the Void symbol because I think there's some really interesting set 2 cards that interact with him exceptionally well. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and just jump in to it. So starting off with our attacks, we're playing 4 of the best attack for Sero, and that is 4 Tape Swing. This card is exceptionally good because it puts them into a spot where either they take full damage, they DR it completely, or you get to draw 2 cards. This card says, as the bonus text in Sero of you always draw 2, or they take the full thing, as well as it has powerful 2. Discard momentum, and to change the zone, response if the zone changes, and it hits. And inside of Sero, it's a 4 mid for 8 throw. So like this card feels amazing. I highly recommend it. The main reason to play Sero is because I want to play this card, and Sero just plays it the best. Moving on, we're going to the bread and butter, the new set 2 stuff that exists. We've got 4 Training Knife Strike. This card has the card text, if it's not blocked, your rival discards a card. So now we interact in 3 different ways, right? If they full block, I get to strip a card. If they partial block, I get to draw the card. And if they don't block, they'll take the 5 and lose a card. So this card draws 2 cards a lot of the time whenever you get the zone mix up. And same thing with Off Guard Punch. Because nobody wants to discard the card. They want to make sure that they keep their life total nice and high. Their health needs to stay high. Both of these are also 5 damage moves, and so they just swing like surprisingly hard. And with some other damage pumps that we have inside of the deck, we kind of get to turn any move into a kill move. And so for Off Guard Punch, the other big thing is it is a 4 diff as opposed to a 5 diff, which is really important inside of the deck. The next card is a card that is supposed to be a substitute, but I didn't have 4 of it, so we're playing it. We're playing 4 Binding Kick. This card was Feast or Famine for sure. If they partial blocked this move, I get to draw 3 cards. 2 from the partial block and 1 from its ability of doing damage. But if they didn't block it, I get to draw 1, which is cool. If they full blocked it, it sucked. It felt really bad. My personal opinion is I like the card because honestly because it's a 4 diff, but I would probably trade 2 of it out for something else. I'm thinking Airstream Driver is the next card that I want to test inside of this deck. But there's what that is. It's my low block slot for the attacks, and it just perpetually wants to draw me more cards. The more resources we have, the longer we can stave off our opponent, and the more of these crazy 5 diffs that we can play, such as Grasping Tape Toss. Kind of a staple in the set 1 meta, and it's not gonna change here for set 2. The big thing about this card is it's great deadlock hate in the event tonight for the Unfun Stuff Fridays. Somebody went to 11 Foundations, and I tossed back 2 of their best defensive pieces. I think it was 2 in the Typhoons, so they couldn't just discard 2 cards and fully block my move. After I'd used my once per game, I'm just like, oh, spin those back for me. Also come in and 6 damage throw with some easy stuff. It forces them to block, right? Because if they don't block, I will commit their best resource as well with Grasping. This card is like a lot of what Sero wants. The only issue with this card is it is a 5 diff. And then my last attack that I'm playing in my 20 attack deck is two hard pummels, excuse me. I wouldn't push this number up even a little bit. It is perfect when I see it. It's beautiful for the momentum. In fact, most games I probably would side them out. This is just accidentally 10 damage, and we are playing a discard your hand deck, right? So we have these two cards that say, yo, discard the cards out of your hand, and then this is a 10 damage pummel that just swings in for right at half your life total. Card feels fantastic. The build is also really cool because like going Training Knife Strike into Hardened Pummel, discard the momentum, build one face down, and then play the Tape Swing like on a 5, on a 6, on a 7, and you get to build a free foundation. Means that you can check a little pour as you continue off your turn. On to the actions. We are playing 3 plus ultras. I don't think that I would play the 4th. I would probably just sideboard it if I really, if I saw my opponent was playing like a lot of really fast mids. I think that mids are going to have a lot more value in set 2. I keep catching people by like not having the correct mid block, and so the fact that set 1 characters get to play plus ultra with a straight face, not to mention it plus ultra counts for 3 momentum with a tape swing, right? Because you just you double the damage here, and so instead of having with the 1 momentum having a tape swing be at 8 damage, 10 with Sero, it starts at 12 and then pushes up to 14 with Sero. So always do 7 and then draw 2 is just like some crazy numbers on this character. As well as we're mainboarding double erase. Once again, good mid block, good breaker block, and stopping things like wall cling, so that they stop our throws, or stopping their anti-draw is really important in this deck. As well as this character has the advantage of being able to sideboard into Eraserhead. So if my character's not getting there and their character's a little too potent, I'll side into Eraserhead, I'll side the other 2 erases and say, no, you just don't get to do your stuff. And then the engine of the deck works exceptionally well. You still have to keep the tape swings in, or maybe you can just find a different one. But like, you know, it's like a 6 damage throw. Like, it's sweet. Onto the foundations. We'll start off with our aggro foundations. Think fast. Super crazy aggro card. Just gives 1/1 on every move that we want it to. Just pushes up our odd, our even numbers to make them odd, so the partial block feels even worse, and even better, the non-block feels even better, right? These 5 damage, you better block this card. Oh, not this one. The 5 damage, you better block this card cards feel really good whenever they actually end up being 6 damage because of Think Fast. And so it just like pushes my opponent into this like this worse state, as well as this card is really messed up with Take Swing. Or in addition, we're also playing Triple Harden. This is an aggro card. I want this card to be built in as much as I can because it says that my 5 damage moves now become 7 damage move, with Think Fast to become 8 damage move, and that is a third of every 6-hander's health. It is half of every 7-hander's health. And so I need to be able to commit as little resources as possible to get the job done, because that is one of the things that Sero has an issue with. He has an issue with closing out games because my opponent is allowed to disrespect his aggro. And hopefully we get to kind of fix that with this deck. It also has the bonus ability being a solid 2 high block with a response after you block with it, a little DR. So like imagine you block with Harden, respond for the -2, and then respond with Sero. You strip the card that you don't want to have to deal with out of their hand. You get a peek at their block zones, and then you say, even if you do keep pushing into me, I'm at 29 health because I don't have to block this next one. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Onto the flow cards. We're playing 4 Calling for Backup. Hand advantages is key. There were plenty of times where I would play 6 cards and hold 4 because of all the draw power that I had available to me. If you go back and you watch the VOD of the game, which will all be out on YouTube specifically for Patreon, you'll get it a little early. Excuse me. You get to see that this card like. I'm playing against Midoriya. I had so many cards in my hand, man. And this card is what's letting us get there. Up next, flow card-wise, we've got 4 Manly Passionate Guy. Because we have all of these cards, I want to build them. I don't necessarily want to go to Deadlock because I don't have a ton of Deadlock abilities, but this card says that when I do go, when I am allowed to block and I have a ton of cards in my hand, I'm allowed to have some card pool tricks. So this card is fantastic. I think it's going to be a 4 of pretty much for the rest of its life inside of these 3 symbols. Card is very good. Onto some defense. We've got Heroic Lineage. This card is exclusively here because I need to block stuff. I gotta block. Things make it, if you make your thing hit hard, I'm gonna make it very slow, and then I get to block, use my once per game, and feel great about it. It also says that with Think Fast, and almost exclusively Think Fast, I've got more, I've got a little bit more damage on it, and that's fine. That is neato. Onto the best defensive card in the deck, and that is for Tape. Tape plus Ultra is an unfair interaction, especially when I get to block your mid thing for free, or block your whatever zone thing for free, and then dip the card out of your hand with Sero. Actually a crazy interaction. It's really good, and I like how this card interacts with my character. It's Tape. What can you say about it? Up next, defense-wise, we've got playing triple resistance. This card doesn't necessarily be in here. I think that this is the main card that I would be cutting, but I just like resistance because you block the thing that matters and then like -4 damage and then block another thing. But I felt like I was just committing this on my turn whenever I would have to like swing 2 5s. It was normally like one of the first things that I committed unless I had like a face down. And in my face ups, it was normally resistance, as well as, you know, there were a couple big stun 2s in the next set. So like being able to flip and say, no, I don't want to deal with your thing is kind of good. Up next, we're playing one training with Gunhead. There would be more on the sideboard if we're doing sideboards for this deck. Just stop your throw, your big crazy Detroit smash, or it's not Detroit smash. Reverse throw using a Texas smash to pump it up, using Midoriya to pump it up even more, using Midoriya 1 to discard your hand, All Might 3 to give it stats, All Might 2 to give it stats. This just says. No, it's 2. I don't gotta worry about it. The top enhance just doesn't really exist, and that's the reason it's at the 1 of. We just side more of these if we feel like we need them. Up next, we're playing for defense, I guess. We're playing triple gotcha. This card for gotcha. This card's a 0 diff. If you notice, we have had absolutely no other 0 diffs in the void symbol, and that's because this is literally the only one, which is why we have to play the 4 of it. If I could get away with just playing 2 and then playing 2 of literally any other card, I think that I would. But we want to build out on turn 2 as early as we want 5 foundations on turn 1, so that we're allowed to play a tape swing, check a 2 on the tape swing, commit our 4, and still feel like we're able to build appropriately, and we didn't just like skip our first turn. This card is good, but it's not that great inside of our deck, just because like we don't have a really good way to commit it during the enhanced step, sans the Think Fast, and Think Fast is just like a greedy play. I just like I have to get the speed on it. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's a 1-2 combo, and we don't have a ton on it. Onto the disruption part of the deck, we're playing double Night Watch. We are playing 5 actions, and so that is just enough, especially whenever I'm wanting to block with these actions, to get them into the card pool. And you know, cancel. We do have a combo, and it was deadlock relevant to flip and add this cool combo back to my hand and then play it down again. I was playing against the Void Mirror, and that matchup will always go to deadlock, and so you need to have really strong deadlock abilities, like on a Grasping Tape Toss or Night Watch or a couple other cards that we have in the deck. But yeah, just being able to say, no, I'll cancel that game-winning enhance, or I'll cancel that enhance that says that I don't win the game is really, really potent. Also feels great whenever we sideboard into Eraserhead, if we sideboard into Eraserhead. Up next, we're playing triple Villains Defeated. I think that Void Discard is going to be one of the staples of the next format, and the Void All Chaos gets to stop that with Response Commit after you, actually it's Response Flip after you discard a number of cards. To your Arrival's effect, you get to draw 1 card, playable while committed. This card feels very, very good. And also, it's a little bit more of life gain, being not a 27 health character, but 29, 31, 33 health character feels pretty good as our 6 asterisk hand size character. Up next, we're playing Triple Confuse. This is not a defense card. I have it in here as Disruption, although it normally is just used to strip throw off of things. But it also says that if you're playing a punch deck or a combo deck, like one of the things I got to use it tonight was I took punch off of a thing, and then Midoriya couldn't give it the +1/+3. I'll take kick off of this card, and so, or I'll take a combo or EX, and now the move is blockable. The other big thing is it says that it can't gain keywords. So if you have a character that says, "Yo, my move gets stunned to," or you have a thing that says, my move gets throw. This just says I don't have to necessarily strip the card off of it, but if you don't use that ability first, it doesn't get to gain anything else. This card is fantastic. It's probably a 4th in the sideboard if we run it. Last 2 cards of the deck, we're playing one Taiyaki Fanatic. This card is like a pseudo Night Watch. I'm only playing it at the 1 of, because at the time I only had 1. It probably would only go up to a 2 of, but room is very, very tight, and the card we probably take out for it is honestly Fulfill My Duty. This card is just another good disruption card. Sometimes you want to just end the enhanced step, especially whenever we're playing things, like if my opponent is at 3 and they've got like a Walkling on board, I'm down to just swing the tape swing and then be like, yo, take it. Here's the fulfilled. All right, in the enhanced step, block it. You can't full block it. Take your 3. All right, there's the game. So there's some neato interactions that get to happen there. And so there you have it. There is Sero under Void. My goal is, with Set 2 coming out, I've got locals on Tuesdays. I've got webcam events on Fridays to have 2 deck profiles the night whenever we're done. They do take me a bit because of the editing, but I'm gonna do my best. If you have any ideas or thoughts on the Sero deck, please let me know down in the description, or join me over on the Discord as we chat about it. Thank you guys for hanging out. I really appreciate all the support, and we will catch you guys next time. Peace.